Hey everybody, welcome. What's on my mind? You know, these are things that are just on my mind. Hey, we're back here. What's on my mind? People who are in America right now need to take the steps to secure our rights for all future generations going forward. They're in danger of getting way too many elk on the landscape and justify bringing wolves back onto that landscape. Anyway, I'd love to have everybody's thoughts on that. Some of our happiest elk hunters are the guys who are coming out of Western Wyoming, backcountry, horseback elk hunts, killing lots of bulls. That's why I like to hunt with a 300 Winchester Magnum. Allow American hunters to import trophies that are legally killed in other countries. Those are the questions to be asked, but I do want to know what you think about this. Hey everybody, welcome to the Wednesday evening show here. Been an active week. You know, we've been trying to bring some good content for you guys, and tonight's show is a heartfelt one for me. You know, somebody brought it up the other day in a comment. You know, why don't you talk about Camo Dreams and some of the, you know, we like to call it like the Hunt of a Lifetime. Hunt of a Lifetime is an actual organization. We did some hunts with them way back in the early days, but like these dream hunts for kids who have life-threatening or in some cases terminal illnesses, you know, those hunts. And then some of the hunts that we've done with the wounded veterans through like Freedom Alliance and A Hero. Those are all hunts that, you know, they actually mean something to me. And I don't want to say that going on hunting trips for myself and, you know, doing like a great big elk hunt doesn't mean something to me. It just means it's just not as meaningful for me as, let's say, taking somebody who's never been on an elk hunting trip before, that's 15 years old and has battled cancer their entire life. I mean, taking that kid out on a hunt or taking a veteran with, you know, a prosthetic leg or two, you know, those are hunts that have deeper meaning for me than a lot of the trips that I do for myself, no matter where I go in the world. So that's what tonight's show about. Before we get to that, I want to remind everybody we're giving away 2 SOA Platinum tag services, one on the YouTube channel. When we get to 15,000 subscribers, we're going to draw a winner. To get entries, you have to be a subscriber. So remember to hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the like, give us a like on it, and drop a comment below. If you're, you know, every time you have an action and you interact with us, that's an entry to win an SOA Platinum tag service. Same with Facebook. When our Facebook account gets to 100,000 followers, we're going to draw a winner, and that person's going to get, once again, SOA Platinum tag service. If you're a follower of the page, you're entered to win. If you're liking the episodes, you're entered to win. If you're commenting, you're entered to win. Every time you have an interaction with the Facebook page, you're entered to win. The more that you interact, the more likely you are to win. So, but once again, we're going to draw that winner to 100,000. We're already over 90,000 followers on Facebook. So we're not that far away from both our goals on both platforms. And being drawn as a winner for the SOA Platinum tag service, that is kind of the door opener, the gateway to hunting the Western states. And our team will work with you to help draw that tag of a lifetime, or hopefully several tags. Okay. Once again, tonight's show is about these special hunts that we do at the ranch. And the first thing I want to do is throw a little shout out. Look, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife catches plenty of heat. They have a crappy wolf management plan. You know, a lot of people don't like the tag application program. I hate the landowner tag program. There's lots of things we know we should, you know, dislike. However, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife has an incredible program for kids with life-threatening or terminal illnesses and wounded veterans that come back with, you know, you have a Purple Heart and, you know, you've lost a limb and et cetera. You know, there's a limited number of tags every year that these 501c or charitable organizations can access. And we're fortunate enough to work with a handful of these organizations. Most notably, once again, on the veteran side, we work with Freedom Alliance and A Hero, both great organizations. And we did some things in the early days with Hunt of a Lifetime. Now I specifically work with Derek Fussell at Camo Dreams. Derek's an exceptional human being. Any of you out there who are watching this show that want to make a charitable contribution that will actually matter, something that if you make a contribution, it doesn't go to paying somebody's salary somewhere. Derek's he founded this thing. He's a volunteer. Every penny goes straight to the kids, and buying trips and travel and food and lodging and experiences for these kids. And I mean, yeah, it he gets a lot of hunts donated, but there's a lot of expense that goes into taking these kids all over the world. And Derek makes sure that every penny counts. And he's probably one of the finest human beings I've ever met in my life. So, Derek, if you're watching this, keep up the good work, brother. Um, you're definitely got a golden key to get into heaven someday. So, but how this kind of all came about was years ago. I got asked by somebody if I'd done one of these hunts, and I said no. And I looked into the tag program, and Hunt of a Lifetime connected with me for a minute, and they sent out Josh Box. And then, Josh came out with his dad, and this has been, man, this is a long time ago. So long ago that I was sponsored by CVA, and we were hunting with a single shot 300 Winchester Magnum. That was a minute ago. And we hunted for a few days and finally got a shot at this big bull. And I mean, every time I drive by the spot, you understand every one of these hunts. I'm sure someday my memory is going to fade, but every one of these hunts, I can literally remember everything that happened. I can't tell you what I ate for supper yesterday. And I can't tell you like a lot of like mundane details about life, but I can remember every second of every one of these hunts with these kids. And it every time I drive around the ranch, I see the spot where for example, where Josh Box got his 6x6. And I remember that hunt in detail. I remember who was filming it that year. And I remember how the hunt went down. And, and I still get a message every now and then from his dad. Josh passed away from the cancer a few years after he was out with us. And, and that, like I said, that hunt really started, I guess, my passion for doing these hunts whenever I could. And then once it was the next year or 2 years, I think it was the next year, we had two kids get tags. The first one up was Hunter Postian. Hunter's actually a local kid. His dad works for the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Hunter's had, man, I'll tell you what, he's had the cancer and heart issues. And I mean, no more deserving kid. And I was targeting a bull called Super 7 with him, massive 7x6. And he actually got a shot at that bull. It's funny. I remember he got a shot, and I know exactly where that bullet went. On film, we could see where the vapor trail, it went right through his antlers. He was looking at the head. But Natalie Hill, the other girl, was coming in that next day. Hunter had to sit on the sideline for like 4 or 5 days while we took Natalie hunting. And I just went up shed hunt the other day and walked past the spot where Natalie killed her 6x6. But then Hunter was the first one to come out in the side by side and congratulate her on getting her bull. And then a couple of days later, Hunter got his shot at redemption and killed Super 7, big bull. That was a great hunt. I mean, and then Natalie passed away just not long after that. And I had this, I don't know, a couple of years there where I was weighing out, do I want to keep doing these hunts with the kids? Because it's kind of heartbreaking when they pass away. And Hunter Posh actually said something to me like, hey, don't be a punk, blah, 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 We had another kid in the meantime, and I couldn't find a photo of him. His name was Jason Smith. Jason shot a beautiful, big, old 7x7. I was actually weathered in British Columbia. Cody did the hunt. We didn't have a full camera and proper camera team and production there. But we got a little bit of video of it. It's on our YouTube channel. But anyway, so Jason shoots this bull, but then, and that was kind of the first year Cody had been around, and he didn't understand TV production. He still doesn't. He's still a challenge in the field. But like I said, Cody joins the mix, and then we had a couple, like, then all of a sudden I had a year where I got 2 more kids drawn, and Cooper Mishu came out with his mom and dad, and Cooper had, and don't ask me why I can remember this. I mean, seriously, he had Charcot-Marie tooth syndrome. Once again, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember Charcot-Marie tooth syndrome. And Cooper, I hope you're listening to this. I'm proud of you. He's gone to Ohio State University. He's got a job. I mean, like he's taken off. I, when you were out here, Cooper, I was really worried how long you were going to live. I honest to God didn't know if you'd be alive 2 years later. Yeah, I don't stay in contact as well as I should, but I do follow along. I've seen your Facebook posts. I know Scott had a birthday the other day. Congratulations on everything going in your life. Cooper had like challenges in using his hands. And I mean, it was really challenging. And this was the proof to me that the elk were going to do things for these kids that they would never do for anybody else. We had an elk walk out in front of Cooper on the last night of his hunt and literally stand there at like, I don't know, 50 yards. Nice 6 point. Granted, I was up meadow calling and Cody's in there with him and they're in the gun together. And this elk just came out and sacrificed himself. It was beautiful. Cooper tags a nice 6x6 bull. Amber's in camp now. We start hunting with Amber. She has cystic fibrosis and was up for like a lung transplant. And, and Amber, if you're watching this, man, I'll tell you what, I'll never forget when we saw a picket fence. I mean, the first time we saw him was on the east side of the property. We bumped him. I thought, well, he's gone. And then a couple of days later, we catch up to him. I remember piggybacking you up the mountain so you wouldn't have to hike. And I mean, let's face it, when you have limited lung capacity, need a helping hand. I actually remember piggybacking you up the mountain. And then I remember the second I saw picket fence come out in the open and you didn't just hit him once, you smoked his ass twice. And that was a big bull. And then we found him right next to the sheds from that winter, just 100 feet away. Tombo Martin was there. Yeah, we hit, the whole crew was there. It was awesome because we got our face, you and I got our face painted that night, or that day before we went out, by Tombo. We got the Tombo Martin face paint treatment. It was badass. And that was the good luck that brought us the bull, right? So, once again, so Amber gets the 7x7. Kind of back on a roll here. The kids are doing good. And then I had Jamie Flock come out, with her dad and then her mom, and they switched spots because I guess one of them needed to be home. And we got that 6 point bull with Jamie. And, that was the night, like the deaf Cody, I'm throwing rocks at Cody, like, and I could see something he couldn't see. And, we actually had Legend on the hill above us. We went back and watched the video. Freaking Legend walked. For any of you out there who, have followed the show for a while, we were chasing a bull called Legend. He's going to come up in a minute when I talk about, another kid, Briggs Hill. Let me ask you, do we have a picture for Briggs Hill? Did I send you one for Briggs? Okay. So anyway, Jamie's set up in the gun. She is in a spot where she can't see Legend. Legend goes through the opening, another bull calling in another 6 point bull, and she makes it count. I mean, whack, dumps this bull. We knew she could shoot. She shot a coyote at like 200 yards earlier in the day. And then, so Jamie takes off, and then in comes Hayden. Hayden comes with Derek Fussell and Hayden's parents. And I mean, Hayden was like that tall. I mean, he's the itty bitty guy. Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Yeah, that's what Hayden had. And we nicknamed him Sprinkler, but I won't tell everybody why. But anyway, great memories from that trip. But in the end, we drove an electric side by side into some elk. They didn't see us. We backed out, carried Hayden around. Cody and I did, gun position. The elk fed out in front of us. Cody has got the patience, Job. He's in the gun with the kid. He's coaching him through it. I'm in the binoculars. I see the bull coming. And all I tell Cody is, don't look at the antlers, like focus on the sweet spot. Bull steps in the opening. We get the bull killed. We get up there. It's a cranker of a 7x7. I mean, a banger. This was a dandy. And, poor Hayden, he didn't really realize what he'd done at that point in time. And, but yeah, what a kid. And we kill this bull, bring in Derek and the parents, and we have this, really great gathering there, took some pictures and whatnot. And actually we didn't get to film that one for the TV show because I had camera guys taken off to go with Travis out of state. I was just shorthanded. We ran out of time, but man, that good memories. Right. And then, the next year, the next year, boy, let me tell you, the next year, that was the year Legend got big. Legend got real big. Like he was way over 400 inches. He was a stud. And I saw him on the first day of Briggs Hill's hunt. And Briggs Hill's dad is Bren Hill. Bren Hill's a, a country western music writer and singer and performer and hell of a guy. Great family out of Utah. And poor Briggs. Briggs, if you're watching this, I apologize for making you come back 3 times. We could have shot a dozen big bulls, but I saw Legend and got obsessed with him. And there was even a moment where they were here for the second trip and I had my sights on Legend. We were zeroing in on him. We're closing the gap on him. And Bren calls me and says, "We have to leave right now. There's an emergency at home. I got to go." I was like, "I don't care what your emergency is. We're closing the gap on Legend right now." Like, and he had to calm me down. And yeah, Bren, that was a that was tough. And then we never did get a shot at Legend. We ended up getting this great 6x6 bull. Pulled off the prank of a lifetime on the guys. That one will stay between us. But Bren and Cody came running in the truck and then pulled up. I'll tell you about it. Anyway, so I'm with Briggs and we get set up. We got the cameras rolling. We kill this nice 6x6 bull in the same spot where we killed Picket Fence with Amber. Kill this bull. Bull runs in. We go over there, locate the bull, and Cody and Bren Hill had made it to that spot, and I called and I like flagged at them or whatever, and they drove over to where we're at, and I'd set this prank up with the guys. I came running out and I was like, "The bull took off running. The bull took off running. Gotta go that way." And Bren's like racking a 45, like, "What are you gonna do with this? Come on." And they take off in the truck like 100 miles an hour going to look for this bull. If they'd have turned around, the bull was laying there. Briggs is sitting next to it. Cody's like freaking out and run through the woods. Ian Majak, my camera operator and photographer on that trip, was sitting next to Briggs on the ground, and we're laughing so hard we can hardly stand it. And these guys are running all over hell and gun looking for this elk. They finally came back and realized they'd been pranked. It was just one of those little memories you're never going to forget, right? And then the next hunt we did, though, we went this other path. We went to the terminally ill kid, or we went from the terminally ill kids to the wounded veteran. And we'd got this tag for Kyle Riley. Now, Kyle had come out with Freedom Alliance on a cow elk hunt, connected with him. He qualified for the bull tag. We put him in for the bull tag. He drew the bull tag. He won, or I shouldn't say draw, it was first come, first serve. He came out and we killed a tank of a 6x6. I mean, just a badass hunt. That one was on the show. That was, I mean, we had 2 or 3 cameras rolling on that one. That was super tight. That was a great hunt. You know, that was a year we had a lot of wolf activity on the ranch, and a lot of elk had moved down. And we had pressured it pretty hard trying to get Legend killed with Briggs. And then Kyle came the 1st October. And anyway, we got that bull down on one of my neighbors participated in the program with us, and great guy. Anyway, we were able to get that bull killed. And then we didn't have a kid for a year. And then there was Taylor Johnson. Taylor comes out for the hunt, and we had an opportunity at a giant bull. Just, it was tough in the thick timber. And then we caught a bull in the open as we were walking up the mountain. We got him in the open. He just hit one of the salt blocks and was in the perfect spot. We got the stick set up and she made the shot. It was just a nice 6x6. And I remember I went down and got her dad and brought him up, and we shot photos. And that was just, that was a super, super sweet hunt. That was pretty cool. Like that girl, I want to say she's from Western Washington, and she'd had a brain tumor, and you know, and she overcame all of her challenges to make it come together. And then we had another gap, a year where we didn't have a tag. And then last year we had probably the busiest year we've ever had, because we had the conservation tag with Blood Origins and Robbie Kroger. And then we had Fisher Abrams came in, and Fisher has cystic fibrosis, hell of a little golfer. And we ended up, I mean, we hunted hard on that one. If the Abrams family's watching, never forget egg roll. It's an inside joke. I won't tell everybody on there. But yeah, never forget egg roll. And then he ended up getting this 7x6. I want to say he's actually a 7x7. It had like a little one that kind of been rubbed off, and it was a pretty cool little point. But anyway, hell of a bull. Turns out he's 12 and a half years old. They sent me the age card the other day. 12 and a half year old bull. We get a lot of older age class bulls on the ranch because of the way we manage the land and because of how the resource as is the unit itself is managed by the game fish department. Then right after Fisher was here, Davis Cox showed up. Now Davis, I didn't have camera team here for Davis's hunt because they were off filming an elk hunt with Travis. And but Cody sat with Davis. I was up on the mountain watching, and Davis killed a 6-point bull. Davis in a wheelchair. We had him set up in a ground blind in the meadow complex, and the elk fed out. It was perfect. Once again, Cody has the patience to sit still. I don't. You can't get me to sit still without drugs. I mean, and lots of them. I'm like a third grader addicted to meth on Mountain Dew. I mean, seriously, with ADD. I can't sit still. I'm not somebody who can sit in a stand. Cody can sit there for hours. I remember put him in like 3 in the afternoon, and they got that bull just right before dark at like 7 something. Just perfect time. It was, Davis did a great job. And then Kevin Honecker came in, another one of our wounded veterans, double amputee, Marine Corps. He got a big old bull. That was another great hunt. That was on the TV series. And that's how we kind of wrapped up last year. And and it's just been a number of years where we've had all these kids come out and the veterans come out. We've done lots of cow elk hunts with veterans organizations, and it like I said, it's just a really unique way that we get to give back, maybe just a little bit. And one shout out I want to throw out there now is Bergara and Burris are working with us real closely to make sure that every one of the kids or vets that comes out to hunt with us gets a rifle. For the kids, like this last year, we gave them the new Bergara Stokes in 308. We put Burris 3 to 15 veracity scopes on them with custom turrets. We were hooking the kids up with the GPM Adventure Hunter suppressors now, and of course our own Pendleton ammunition. We make sure that they come out, they do the hunt with us, and then we send that gun to their FFL dealer and the suppressor to their SOT dealer, so they can do the background check and they get to keep that gun forever. So big shout out to our sponsors, Bergara and Burris, for working with us on that. They're champions in the industry, and they definitely are. That's why we like to work with them. They're real people, and they help us with these programs. Now, something you probably heard me talk about was like after the kid gets the elk, I went back and got the parents, or after the kid got the elk, I went and got somebody else. And I've been asked 100 times over the years why I don't let the parents go in the field on the hunt. And it's real simple. We had a number of other kids that aren't mentioned in this pile who came out to hunt with us, and the dads were there, and the hunts were for the dad more than the kid. As soon as we made the switch to not taking the kids with the parents in the field or parents with the kids in the field, we started just getting the kids who wanted to be there, like the kids wanted to be there, which is our goal. We're not there to take the parents in the field. We're there to take the kids in the field. I had one instance where a kid was having trouble managing the trigger. The dad was just going to take the gun and kill the bull. Nope. That is not how this hunt works. The hunt, when we put on a hunt, we put it on for the kid. And whether you agree with it or not, it's the way we do it. And because my time in the field is donated for the kid, our efforts are donated for the kid. We feel horrible when for the parents and the situation they're in, but we're there for the kid. And so far, everybody's been very understanding. I've had a few people who are disappointed when they got there and they weren't able to go in the field on the hunt, but it's something we discuss up front. And any of you out there that are watching the show, if you've got a kid that's 17 or under, I think it's actually 20 or under now in Oregon, not for the program, that's got a life-threatening illness or a terminal illness that would qualify for the tag, drop us a message. Love to have that conversation. If the kid has a passion for hunting and it would be their hunt of a lifetime, it's something Cody and I live for doing those hunts. If we can do one every year, man, it'd just be awesome. Last year we did 4. It was just too many. We taxed and overused the resource a little last year. I won't do 4 again. But 1 or 2, yeah. And so once again, if you know a special kid, reach out to us, drop us a message. We'd love to know about them, and connect with them and have a conversation. It's something that we desperately have to do every year. I guess I'm still trying to get into heaven. I think I'm screwed there, but hey, you got to try, right? But those are the hunts, and that's why I wanted to talk about. I wanted to kind of glorify these kids, not glorify, but like highlight these kids in this week's episode, in today's show, because they deserve it. These kids go through so much in life. If we can give a few days or a week of our time, take these kids in the field, make them the star of an episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures, shoot photography of them. I mean, yeah, that's what we're there to do. And like I said, I can go down the list, Josh Box, Natalie Hill, Hunter Postian, Cooper Mishu, Amber Mozingo, Jamie Flock, Jason, Stewart, anyway, Jason Hayden, Kyle Riley, Kyle Riley gave a leg in the service of his country. I mean, think I can't give him an elk hunt? Come on. Taylor Johnson, Fisher Abrams, Davis Cox, Kevin Honecker gives 2 legs in the service of his country. Yeah, we can go elk hunting. They're all heroes as far as I'm concerned. And those that aren't with us anymore, we will remember them forever. And most of them are immortalized in the in the television episodes. And a lot of those episodes are up on our YouTube channel, or a couple of them are still running live on the Sportsman channel on the Steve's Outdoor Adventures television series. So those are just some of the things that have been on my mind lately, and I wanted to share them with you. And I'd like some other thoughts. If there's another show you'd like to, or topic you'd like to have me talk about in the coming weeks, drop us a message. Love to talk about it. But for now, that's all that was on my mind. If you've liked listening to What's on My Mind, remember to give this video a like and either follow or subscribe to this page so that you never miss a single live episode when we stream them from right here in our studio. And don't forget to drop a comment below. I want to know what's on your mind.